Hi everyone. I hope you all are doing really well. So I'm so excited about this. I have still been trying to figure out like how am I going to do everything? What way is the best format? And I'm sure I'll still continue to change things until I get into a space where I feel very comfortable and things are flowing well. But what we're going to do for now is I'm going to be breaking down the astrological segments into the different things that are going on each week. That way you can take that information and really like learn about it, study it if you want on your own, and see how it's applying to your life, and you're not getting dumped on with everything at once. Also, it's just, I think, a little bit easier for me to keep up on things if I just go through everybody's stuff at once, and I'm not doing this like breakdown of each individual sign in separate videos. I don't know. We're going to see. I'm also trying to help with upload time because my upload times are so slow. Unfortunately, where I'm at right now, the internet is just not good, and we've tried to fix it, but it's something with the way the house is. So when I move, hopefully I'll get my old internet back, which was incredibly quick, and it won't take it sometimes takes me all day. I'm uploading videos and it's all day, and it takes forever and ever. So this, I hope, will help with that as well. Anyway, I hope I hope you are listening to this, but maybe you already skipped over to the timestamps, or maybe you want to now. If you didn't notice, there are timestamps for each individual sign in the description box below, so you can jump on over to yours now. And that is, I think, going to be it. Oh, no, we're going to talk about some degrees. So when I talk about the degrees, we are talking about Sabian symbols. Sabian symbols, that is something that you can go look up if you would like, but there's different energies that are attached with each degree in the zodiac. So I'm going to be incorporating that in with the moon transits just to give you more perspective and understanding about how that energy is affecting you. And I'm going to be giving you some questions to ask yourself about your life and how that's what I see this energy asking you, making come up in you. So when I get there, that's why I'm going to be asking you questions. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I will see you at your reading. Hello, Aries. So that full moon, how was that for you? If you have a Aries placement between 6 and 12 degrees, I bet it was fairly intense. It could have been anything from being very emotionally drained and very tired, all the way up to feeling just like you're going nuts and feeling like you want to scream and yell and shout. So emotional outbursts could definitely be a theme with that full moon energy for you all. It is, of course, landing in your first house, your ascendant. So that is the house of you. That's your face. The moon on your face, as somebody with a first house moon, I can attest to, is your emotions are red all over your face. So if you were, at work, you could have had some emotional outbursts there. You could have been dealing with people that were trying you. If you were at home, you could have just been sitting there watching a movie and it just really making you sob all over the place. And you're like, I don't even know what's wrong with me right now. You can thank the moon for that. The other thing that moons do is they bring up truths. They bring revelations to light. They bring things that maybe you've been trying to hide from yourself or hide from others. They will come into the light during full moon transits. They also bring manifestations, so they can bring really positive things. But when the moon lands in your first house, it's definitely usually going to be a realization about yourself, and it's not going to be the easiest energy. So this is what may have popped into your conscious mind is, are you being selfish? Because it is Aries energy. Where are you being selfish in your life? Where are you not being selfish enough? But where are you being too selfish? How are you presenting to the world? You might have had some uncomfortable understandings about how you see yourself. And this may have come through a mirrored energy. You may have seen somebody acting the way that you do and realize that, ooh, I do not like that. Okay? Or you could be seeing somebody act the way that you wish you were acting, and it created an anger in you. It created a jealousy. It created a fuck that person. Disliking somebody and not really knowing why. And that really comes up when we go into the degrees. So it was at 9 degrees, Aries. And with the Sabian symbol, this degree is asking you, do you believe in yourself? The areas where you don't believe in yourself, are you projecting those onto others? Do you believe because somebody does something that others have done that they can't succeed? Or do you really believe that about yourself? Overall, that degree, 9 degree Aries Sabian symbol asks, or says, if there's something that you want to teach, if there's something you want to explore, but you feel like it's already been done and you don't want to do it, why? Put your personality in it. Put your unique touch in it. So when it comes to that landing in your first house, you have to ask yourself, do you project onto others what you are lacking within yourself? If you find yourself mad at other people that are going after their goals, mad at other people for their behaviors, things like that, you need to see why, because it's going to show you a lot of information. This is not to chastise you or tell you you're a bad person or anything like that, but this is to give you more insight within you. So the next time you're scrolling and you see something that makes you roll your eyes and you're like, everybody's doing that, or like, I don't know, you have those thoughts, right? Those thoughts that we all have, we don't like to talk about. You have those jealous, irritated thoughts about somebody else's happiness. Dig into it so you can understand what it is that you're not doing that you're wanting to do. It's all about being aware. It's not about being perfect. And this full moon energy can reinvigorate your life if you use it in the right way. It can make you feel like, all right, I can do things again. Some of you might already be feeling like that, depending on how this activated you. But others, where it was more like, I had a really difficult time, I was very emotional, I'm just struggling. Take a look at those specific questions I asked, and when they come back into your life, when you're, again, in a space where that pops up, really dig into it to see what do you personally need to be working on. So next up, we have Venus entering Virgo, which lands in your 6th house. That happened on the 2nd. Venus will stay in Virgo until the 28th, and then it will go into Libra. So during this transit, you might find a lot of harmony coming into your work. If you had any emotional outbursts at work, you're going to be able to resolve it with this energy. You also can find that you're just getting along better with your coworkers, your bosses, clients, etc. This is also can be a time, because Venus is in Virgo, that you are wanting to take a look at your diet and your exercise. You're wanting to take care of yourself more. And if you've been really dedicated to that, you might want to be treating yourself more, bringing more pleasure into that aspect of your life. Also with Venus transits, this can be a time that if you're single, you might meet somebody new. This can be a romance that could start at work, or you could be meeting this person through work in some capacity. Next, or I guess it's to say lastly, on the 3rd, yesterday, Pluto stationed direct. Now, Pluto is a planet that moves very, very slow. It transited into Capricorn, into your 10th house in 2008. So it's been a while. It's nothing new. But it did go direct, and that does have a significance because Pluto is also joined by Jupiter and Capricorn, and they are all very closely together still. So it's going to intensify this energy in your life versus, back in 2008, it was just starting out and building. This is going to be an intense period of transformation in this department of your life over the next really, my math's not all that great. So for some time, okay, it's going to last some time. Pluto transits out of Capricorn into Aquarius, January 2024. So sometime. Pluto stationing direct in your 10th house, you may have been seeing some patterns with power struggles in your work. You may have been dealing with other people feeling threatened by you, other people having problems with you, always trying to start something with you, clients or customers lying about you on a regular basis, coworkers, anybody, just people feeling like they have to beat you down because you are going to excel over them. This also can be a time that you attract powerful people into your life, people that can help you progress. But it's teaching you one serious thing, and that is if you don't have a passion about what you're doing, and you are doing something in a way that makes you feel good. So you can't just have passion. You actually have to be going after it in a way that lines up with your morals. If those two things aren't checked off, Pluto will tear it down. So you have to be passionate about what you're doing, or else it's not going to work out for you. And this is why I've been talking about Aries has been going through it when it comes to their career. You guys have been going through it for some time with your career. You've been having ups and downs. Pluto can make people very, very rich, and Pluto can take everything away. Everything's an extreme. There's not one or the other, but for the most part, it's usually destruction. So you have to find what you're passionate about and make sure that you're doing it in a way that doesn't degrade that passion And that's where Pluto can work in your favor. Okay, so that's something that you're going to need to work on over these next 4 years. And then Pluto will go into your 11th house, and you'll have a whole new set of Plutonic issues to deal with. Okay, so that is going to be Aries Rising's reading. I hope you all are having a fantastic month, and I will see you at your Mercury retrograde, which is going to be the 13th. That video will come out soon, and what that means for you. Hello, Taurus rising. So the full moon in Taurus, no, that happens at the end of the month. We all have our full moon in Taurus on the 31st on Halloween. That is definitely intense. So we'll talk about that when we get there. But the full moon in Aries landed in your 12th house. So this can be very, very difficult because remember, your 12th house are the things that you hide from even yourself. This is your house, your privacy. This is where you go to, this is your dreams. This is where you go to hide. This is your, subconscious, your unconscious mind. So when you have a light shine on that, it can definitely stir up a lot of difficult emotions. This is a very good period for divination and doing that deep dive on yourself, psychologically, looking at yourself, evaluating yourself, seeing what's going on. It's also a time that you might feel more introverted during this transit. Now, the full moon energy does last a couple weeks after it happens, so you still might be feeling this. You might be feeling a bit paranoid, having some privacy concerns, things of that nature. You also could have some very crazy and intense dreams. Since it is in the sign of Aries, which is ruled by Mars, the themes could be violence, war, sex, fighting, crime, all those things could be not happening, but could be the theme of your dreams at this time. So the degree it landed in was 9 degrees. And what Aries 9 degrees and Sabian symbols asks you in regards to your 12th house is, are you hesitant towards any psychological or spiritual work because you tried it in the past and it didn't work? Or it wasn't what you expected it to be, or the results didn't, you're like, I don't really like it. I didn't enjoy it. Because you're being asked with 9-degree Aries, what is it that you want to do or want to teach or want to learn that you feel has already been done before and that you can't make it new. You can't bring your own personal spin to it. It tells you that you can, that your personality, your experiences, all of that also matters. So what, in regards to your spiritual work or your psychological work, do you need to do that you're resisting because it's already been done before, or you already tried it in the past? Also, it asks, do you have any spiritual ideas? Do you have something that you want to share, something you want to speak about that, I don't know, everybody else is already talking about that, so why are my words going to matter? Do you have information you're channeling and you don't want to share it because you say, well, there's already all these other people that do this on YouTube. See, there's this and that and the other. Or do you want to, start a blog, but like, oh no, there's like thousands of spiritual blogs. Like, nobody's going to care about mine. You matter. Your personal experience matters. It's different than everybody else's. Your energy matters. It's different than other people's. So you have information that other people don't have, and you need to share that. You need to end the, I can't do this because everybody's already doing it, self-talk. On the 2nd, Venus entered Virgo. This landed in your 5th house, and this is going to, Venus will stay there until the 28th when it goes into sign of Libra. So there might be a lot of flirting going on, a lot of playfulness, a lot of, if you're single, being on dating apps, meeting new people. You're going to also probably be attracting more people, more opportunities for hooking up and doing things of that nature that bring you pleasure. A lot more romance. So it just could be a very busy and popular time for you. This is also a time that you can see some drama pop up, so beware of that. If you have children, this is going to be a time where you're going to be focusing a lot on them, making sure that they are feeling, good, fulfilled, taking a look at their needs and making sure that you are meeting them. On the 3rd, yesterday, Pluto went direct. Now, Pluto is a planet that moves very slow. This is not new energy for you. You've actually been dealing with Pluto being in your 9th house since around 2008, and it will remain there until around January 2024 when it finally leaves the sign of Capricorn and goes into Aquarius. Now, this has been in your 9th house, and it's trining your Taurus placements. You may have been feeling a strong push and pull between being very optimistic and being kind of nihilistic, being seeing the darker sides of life and the darker sides of reality and jumping between the two. You're learning to find that balance. You're learning to find that you need hope and dreams and aspirations, but you also need to understand reality, and you need to understand the darker aspects of that. Pluto also can bring on a lot of obsession, so you might have found that you've been very obsessed about learning, higher education, traveling, learning about different cultures, and this can sometimes be used as a way to try and escape your personal reality. The thing is that that doesn't work, and Pluto will make sure that that can't happen. So if you keep trying to escape through other ways, you'll continually be blocked. So if you're finding yourself blocked and you're like, but I really wanted to travel here, or I really wanted to learn that, you need to see, what are you not addressing that you need to address first? What are you trying to run away from? You also may find that you want to rebel against authority and you're questioning authority more. And while that's okay to question authority, one thing, just like a tip here, please don't break the law during this period of time, because you are even more likely to be caught, and you are even less likely to be given any less harsh reprimands for whatever you're doing. So questioning authority is one thing, but breaking the law and trying to push your luck is not going to be it's just not going to work out that well for you, okay? You don't have the energy assisting you with that right now. And so that's going to be your reading. We're going to talk about next time, which I should be posting probably in the next 2 days or so, Mercury transiting, not transiting, but Mercury going retrograde. Mercury is either retrograde or it's direct. So Mercury retrograde, which happens on the 13th, we'll be talking about that, seeing how that affects you in the next, what should I call these? I guess they're readings, but next recording. I hope you all are having a great month, and I will see you soon. Hello, Gemini rising. So we are going to be talking about that full moon. Full moon in Aries landed in your 11th house, and it was sextile your Gemini placement. So this full moon may have been not as difficult for you as it was for other people, but depending on what's going on in their life, you definitely might have seen some things pop up, or you might see some things pop up, because that energy does apply for a couple weeks after it happens. So with that full moon, you could see new friendships coming up with your 11th house ruling friendships. You could also be seeing your friends and your community in a more positive light. With Mars retrograding in your 11th house, that could clearly put a damper on how you feel about your friends and your community. For me personally, I know, because I'm a Gemini rising, it's been as soon as Mars went retrograde, I had zero energy to do anything social, to talk to my friends on any way. I was just been very focused on work and on, I read a lot, so that, and resting and just being by myself. I didn't want to really be around anyone. So you may be feeling kind of like a resurgent of energy in that department, feeling like being around people again. This also can, the full moon brings revelations and understandings, and so some truth could come out about your friends or your community that you were wondering about. Chances are it's not going to be too negative, because it is sextile energy. It is a soft aspect, but it depends on where you're at and really how your individual chart is impacted by this energy. So that Aries moon was at 9 degrees, and what that is asking you, landing in your 11th house, is it's not asking you. It is asking you. It's saying, are you not sharing your ideas with your community due to fear of what they will think? Because you're afraid they're going to say, well, that's already been done, or somebody already thinks of that, or whatever. Because somebody's already tried that before in the past and it didn't work, and so that's why it's never going to work again. And when it comes to the 11th house, it can be really about the future, ideas that you have, I think we should do this, and I think we should do this as a community. The future for your community, not just you. The 11th house is ruled by Aquarian energy. That's the collective. So, one thing that I'm really thinking about with this particular energy that I'm seeing is, are there areas of where you're wanting to really step into certain roles in your community that are roles of leadership, but you're afraid that you aren't qualified to, or you're afraid that, your ideas are going to be like the ideas others have had that have failed. But you're being told that you're different. Your personality is what makes you different. Your personality by itself, your energy that you have, makes other people want to listen to you. So use that. Use that energy, and your new ideas will be received well. So moving on the 2nd, Venus transited into Virgo. And this is going to stay there until the 28th, whenever it goes into the sign of Libra. This landed in your 4th house, and it's going to be squaring your ascendant and your Gemini placement. So there definitely can be some tension, but it is Venus, so you might get a little reprieve from that. If some fights start at home, you might be able to resolve them quicker than normal. If you've already been having some tension with family members or people that you live with, you could find an easier time with resolving some of those issues. This also can be a time that you really are desiring to make changes to where you're living. You might want to move. You might want to get new furniture. It's Virgo energy, so you might be more into the details. You know, hey, I want to redo that wall. I want to, you know, and put little knickknacks on it, or I'm wanting to re-caulk the tub. That would be some Virgo stuff right there. So things like that. And there also is going to be a strong pull for romance and relationships that make you feel comfortable, make you feel at home, make you feel peace. So this could be a time with Venus transits that you can meet somebody. You can meet somebody through family. You can meet somebody that is of the same culture of you. And this is going to be for my single folks that are wanting to meet somebody. So with you desiring like a comforting energy, you could definitely, you know, I feel since it's Virgo's, you know, ruled by Mercury, which is about communication. Ask your friends, ask your family, do they know somebody that would be well suited with you? I know people aren't really into that, like you're not necessarily wanting to be hooked up with somebody random that your friend or family member knows. That can be kind of scary and iffy, but Gemini, if you're like, hey, I kind of want to settle down, I kind of want to feel comfortable, I don't want to be jumping all from here to there to this person, that person, then this transit can bring on somebody that can bring that sense of comfort. Now, moving on the 3rd, Pluto stationed direct in Capricorn. So this is a very long-term transit. It's nothing new to your life. Pluto's actually been in Capricorn since 2008 and will remain there until January 2024. Right now, though, we already have Jupiter and we have Saturn in Capricorn as well. So it really intensifies the energy of what Pluto does when it's in that house. Now, this is one reason, just one, that Gemini energy has very difficult things that they've been facing, because Pluto has been in our 8th house since 2008. So if you feel like you have not gotten a break since forever, then you can thank Pluto for that. But what Pluto's really trying to do is he's home in that house. His energy isn't as drastic or as off-putting as it can be in other transits, but it's definitely not an easy energy to deal with because the 8th house is not easy. The 8th house is going to show you aspects of yourself that you need to understand in a deeper way. It's going to make you face your anxiety, make you face your depression, make you face your inner demons, your phobias, your addictions, make you face your trauma, your sexual abuse, anything, these things that are terrible that happen to us. That is where it's held, is in the 8th house. And so you are having to face them so they don't rule you anymore. So it's very difficult, but it really is morphing you into this energy that is very powerful because you're not being pulled back by these demons. You're not fighting the anxiety. You're not fighting the phobias, the addictions, all these other things, but you're learning to integrate those aspects of you that you have tried to lock away in the 8th house. The problem is when you lock parts of yourself away, they will break out eventually, and they usually come at the worst time, and you'll have such a hard time controlling it versus integration, which is what we're all called to do. So, sorry, I was like going off there. I was zoning out. I think I was starting to channel a little bit. So that is going to be what's going on with that 8th house transit here. You know, really what I found, since it's something that's personally happening to me, is you have to face your fears. Whatever scares you, whatever crazy phobias you have, like my phobia stuff has been coming up a lot as these energies are getting more condensed and closer together. You know, Jupiter in there expanding it, making it even more intense. You got to face them, because if not, when? If you don't face them now and then you're having to face serious challenges in your external world, how are you going to manage them both? Or maybe you're having to do that at the same time. But you have to face them eventually. You can't lock things away forever. So that is going to be Gemini's reading. We're going to talk about next Mercury retrograde, and that's going to happen on the 13th. So in the next couple of days, that will be coming out, and how that's going to impact you, what you can expect from that, because that's always a good time. It always is a little bit shittier for Gemini and Virgo placements because we are ruled by it. So that's our chart ruler. So we got to know what's going on. You might already start feeling the effects because we are in the shadow, because it happens on the 13th. So we're in that 2-week pre-shadow. And let's just, let's talk about it really, really quick. Let me get my, it's happening in our 6th house. So it's not as bad in the 6th house. We'll talk about it next week. Not next week, but in the next couple days. I won't give you guys a heads up, but just know, if your shit starts not working, your electronics, you can say, thanks, Mercury retrograde, for screwing me over once again. All right. So I will see you all in a couple days, and I hope you all have a great month. Hello, Cancer rising. So we are going to be talking about that full moon that happened on the 1st. It was definitely very, very intense. That full moon for you all landed in your 10th house. So your 10th house is your house of public perception. It's your career path. It's your life path. The full moon also squared your Cancer risings and any Cancer placements that you have. So you definitely may have had not that great of experience with it. With that energy, you can see it manifests in some negative public attention, especially if you work in a field where you are on a public stage. You could have dealt with various issues with your, the public. This could be something with, an argument. This can be somebody accusing you of something. This could be a fight with your boss, your coworkers. This could be an internal struggle as well. The full moon brings revelation, so you could undersee that, hey, the trajectory I'm taking for my life or what I'm doing with my career is not where I'm wanting to be, and having a very emotional upheaval about that. Also, because the 10th house is the public stage, you could have had some emotional outbursts in public, or that's still energy that you could be dealing with, because the full moon energy does last for a couple weeks after it happens. So these are all things that you could still see manifest in your life. So it was at 9 degrees Aries, and what 9 degrees Aries asks you when it comes to landing in your 10th house. Are you holding back on a career or life goal due to thinking that others have already done it? So let's say you have an idea to create something, but somebody's already created it. Is there a way to reinvent that? Is there a way to make it better? Is there a way to do something different about it? Or you have an idea or philosophy, but somebody has already said that. Where is your personalization of it? There's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new that's been said or done, or there's nothing new that will be said or done or created. We've all done this before. However, your personality, your experiences, that's all unique to you. And that's something that you can only bring to something new. So if you're not doing something because you're afraid that other people have already done it before and you aren't special, you need to understand that you are special because you're the only one that can do it in the way that you're going to do it. Okay. The other thing is with that, it asks, are you attempting to mimic someone else's path, therefore creating havoc in your own? A lot of times, because of the way the world works, because, you have to get this degree, and then you can do this job. Everything's a recipe. Everything is like, if you do this, this, and this, then this will happen. And for some people that works. And for others, they do everything they're supposed to do and it does not work. And others, they do nothing they're supposed to do and then they still are getting success. So what is the key here, right? When it comes to this energy landing in your 10th house, if you are mimicking somebody else's path and it's not working because you think that's what you're supposed to do, that's the right way to do this, you need to say, if it's not working, why am I doing it? Maybe it's not the right way. How can you bring individuality? How can you bring your unique essence into whatever you're trying to do with your life goal or with your career paths? Are you living your life or are you trying to live someone else's? So next we had Venus enter Virgo on the 2nd. And Venus is going to stay there, which this landed in your 3rd house, until the 28th, and when it goes into Libra. So the 3rd house rules short trips and those that are very close to you physically, so like your neighbors or people that you see on a day-to-day basis. So you might find with Virgo, landing in there, sextiling your rising and your cancer placements, that you have, that you're just getting along with people better. You're getting along with those that are closer to you. The way that you communicate, because third house rules communication, you're expressing yourself better. You're being received well by other people. You might be taking some short trips. So this would be like local, going away for a weekend, a couple towns over, especially when it comes to your relationships and things of that nature. So you also could be meeting somebody through short trips. So if you are out and about, if you're running errands, if you go away for a weekend, if you are, you could have a new neighbor move in, things of that nature. You could be getting to know somebody that is within physical proximity of you better during this transit. So anytime that Venus transits into a new sign, if you're single, it definitely can bring love and relationships into your life. Next, we have Pluto stationing direct, and this is going to be in your 7th house. Now, this is not a new energy to you. Pluto has been in your 7th house since around 2008, depending on where how your chart is exactly lined up. And it will stay in Capricorn in your 7th house until around 2024, January 2024, when it goes into Aquarius. Now, this is basically a very transformative time when it comes to you in relationships and how you see love and how you see healthy connections and what they look like. You're going to find the aspects of you that are attracted to toxicity. You may have dated a lot of shitty people during this time. You may have experienced lessons through others, lessons about the darker aspects of humanity, trauma, abuse, control, obsession, secrets, lies, cheating, betrayal. All of those things are Plutonic ruled, and those are things that may have come up during this transit. So what is it asking you? It's asking you and it's teaching you what aspects of you do you need to heal and do you need to transform? What do you need to let go? It's teaching you why and how you're attracted to certain types of people that hurt you and why that is existing. So you need to take a look at your relationships and see how they have been since 2008. See what lessons they have been teaching you. This also can come in, like, let's say you've been, you married your high school sweetheart, things have been great, you haven't been having any issues. Okay, then take a look at your business connections and take a look at your close friendships. What has been going on in there? Because that also can apply too. Business connections and close friendships are 7th house. So you're learning a lot about yourself through others during this transit and learning what you're needing to let go and what you're needing to transform. It's Pluto is not easy energy. A lot of times when Pluto goes through a person's 7th house, they're going to deal with a lot of relationships or a marriage ending or something along those lines. Or a tragic betrayal from a friend or a business partner that stabs them in the back. So it's definitely not easy energy, but it does teach you very, very valuable lessons. So that is going to be your reading. Oh, I do want to mention that Pluto, I don't know if I said it earlier, but the reason why you may see some of this manifest more in your physical life now instead of being an influence is because we do have a lot of energy in Capricorn right now. We have Saturn, we have Jupiter there, and Jupiter is going to be conjuncting Pluto, so it's going to be really intensifying this energy. So you might see more physical manifestations in your life of Pluto in your relationships, okay? So that is going to be your reading, Cancer risings. I hope you all are having a fantastic month. I do appreciate you being here, and I will see you next time for Mercury retrograde, which happens on the 13th, and we're going to talk about how that's going to impact you directly. So I hope you have a good day, and I will see you next time. Hi, Leo risings. So on the 1st, we have the full moon in Aries, and this landed in your 9th house. It was at 9 degrees Aries, and we're going to talk a bit more about that 9 degrees and what that is specifically asking you in just a moment. So your 9th house is going to rule your personal belief system. It's going to rule travel and religion and higher learning and optimism and hopes and dreams and things of that nature. But what I really see here with the full moon landing there is that your personal beliefs are really being tested and brought to light. Full moons bring revelations, they bring manifestations, they can bring uncomfortable energy and questions. So your personal belief system, with it being an Aries, I just get this. See, with me and astrology, I do study astrology based off of what it means, but it is a language, so it's up for interpretation a lot. And I also use my intuition, and what I just really saw while looking at the Leo rising chart is that Aries energy coming in and asking for new energy, asking for a new cycle. Aries is the beginning of a new cycle. It's asking for the end of a chapter, something to be released, because you need to make space for something new. And so I feel like a lot of Leo risings had their personal beliefs tested. Our president is a Leo rising. I believe that being diagnosed with COVID is going to be a period of transformation for him, because he's going to have to test his personal beliefs on the virus itself, or on different aspects of himself, different aspects of how he works, etc. And so this is something that for you all, I really feel that's how that Aries moon affected you. Bringing up your personal belief systems and saying, do they need to be changed? Because it's okay to change your mind with new information. And that's what people should do, but it can be very difficult, especially as a fixed sign. Fixed signs want to stick what's trusted and true. And so this is definitely a push for new energy, new understandings, new perceptions. You also may feel a really strong desire to break out of the mundane, desire to travel, desire to learn something new, desire to be a part of a different culture or learn about a different culture. If you're a writer, this will be a big time for you to, feeling like you want to write, feeling energy to do that again. The 9 degrees asks you, as it lands in your 9th house, how are you looking at your faith or your belief system? And are you feeling that does it serve you anymore, or can you add something new to it? The 9th degree does not ask you to toss everything away that you once believed and write a brand new script. It tells you to incorporate what you know, what you still believe in, and add in new ideas, add in your new perspective, add in your experiences. It's not about, okay, well, no, trash that because that's bad, and, now we got to restart with something brand new. It's taking what you understand and incorporating it with new information as presented, and changing your mind when you need to change your mind. So when it comes to you all in that landing in your 9th house, it really is. And I think it's even more significant, the fact that this is landing in your 9th house and it was at 9 degrees. 9 degrees is saying, hey, we're almost at the end of this cycle. Let's finish all this up. Let's, cross our T's and dot our I's. And I really feel that's reflective of the same energy you're being called to with this transit. And full moon energies last and can be felt in your life for a couple weeks after they happen. So you can still be going through this or have things come up that make you question. What is it that I believe? Do I still believe this? Do I need to update my belief systems? Okay, so next we have the second, Venus entered Virgo, and this landed in your 2nd house. Now Venus is going to stay in Virgo until the 28th when it transits into Libra. And Venus is home in the 2nd house. It rules the 2nd house. Your 2nd house is your resources, it's your money, and it's also your values. So Venus is a very analytical energy, definitely feeling a pull to take a look at your finances, take a look at your budget, make sure everything is lined up, is a big Venus in Virgo mood. Also, you might feel that you need to take a look at all that because you're wanting to make some big purchases. For some reason, I saw a refrigerator pop in my head, which makes sense because Virgo energy is about, food in a way, but the healthy food. So maybe you are getting a brand new fridge and going to fill it up with vegetables or something along those lines. Also, when it comes to your love life, because it is Venus, you could be meeting somebody that makes you feel very secure, makes you feel safe, has money to take care of you. You also could meet someone at a bank or a financial institution or anywhere that you are spending money, so a store, anywhere. Okay, anywhere you spend money. On the 3rd, Pluto is going to station direct. Now, this is not a new energy that you're dealing with, as Pluto has been in your 6th house since about 2008, and it will remain there until January of 2024 when it finally enters into the sign of Aquarius. Pluto is a very slow-moving planet. It's an outer planet. You generally don't see physical manifestations in it. It's more of a, when you look back, you can definitely see how Pluto transformed you over a long period of time in that area of your life, depending on where it's landing. For you all, this is happening in your 6th house. So this is your house of work, your day-to-day activities, your health, your well-being. You may have been noticing over these, since 2008, power struggles at work or power struggles in your day-to-day. If you were in school back in 2008, you could have been having issues there, or within your home with your parents or whoever you lived with. You also may have been dealing with some struggles with your health, having a hard time getting control of it. You could have become obsessive about it. You could have fallen into, obsessive dieting or exercise as well. You also may have found and been diagnosed with different mental health disorders, particularly ones that are like very anxious or very destructive energies. So, even depression, anxiety, OCD is a big one with this transit because it is making you be a bit more obsessive with your schedule and your day-to-day routine. So that could definitely bring that energy out. So what does Pluto teach you, though, as it goes through this transit? It's definitely teaching you to take control of your health. It's teaching you how you get your power taken from you at work and how you need to take that back. It teaches you, if you are in a space where you're not passionate about your job, that you need to step away from it. So if you've been very depressed with what you do at work since 2008, you really need to pull away from it. This energy is incredibly potent at this time in particular because we have other heavy-hitting planets in Capricorn right now that are fairly close to it. We have Saturn and we have Jupiter. Jupiter and Pluto are going to be conjunct, and so that is going to really expand that Plutonic energy, where whatever does not deserve to stand needs to come down and needs to come down now. So this also can teach you some really great organizational skills, basically getting your shit together and really growing up over this transit, figuring out how to take care of yourself and find balance, especially if you're somebody that was not taking care of yourself before. But if you're somebody that already is very focused on their health, it could definitely bring out some dangerous aspects of that where you go too far onto the other side. So you have to find that balance, okay? So again, this is something that's going to be continuing on for you for another 4 years. So it's nothing happening anytime, tomorrow. But you can take a look now and see how your life has been with your day-to-day and your health and your job and how Pluto's been influencing it, and see how you can take your power back in some regards. So that is going to be your reading, Leo Risings. I hope you all are having a fantastic day. I will be back in the next couple of days with what Mercury retrograde is going to be doing to you all on the 13th. And I hope you all are having a great day. I will see you next time. Hi, Virgo Risings. So we're going to talk about that full moon that happened on the 1st. This landed in your 8th house. So definitely may have not been a very fun full moon for you, may have been very difficult because the 8th house is the house of things that we hide from other people. It is our darker aspects. It is a very uncomfortable house. It's very Plutonic. So it is Plutonic. It's ruled by Pluto. So with that full moon shining a light in your 8th house, this is a time that you're going to start to reevaluate yourself, reevaluate your life, reevaluate the things that you wish that you did not do. You're taking a look at your priorities. You take a look about how you are seen by other people. You're taking a look at your relationships, where you give your power over. So it's a very highly emotional time with this energy. All full moons are, but especially as it's coming through your 8th house, it can be difficult. Now, it was Aries full moon at 9 degrees, and what this means for you as it was going through your 8th house, it's asking you, are you being genuine to yourself? Or are you trying to be like an older version of yourself, one that was meant to be left in the dust? Are you suppressing yourself out of fear of judgments based on past versions of you? Are you still trying to act like how you used to be because people like that? but maybe you've changed. Maybe you've gone through darkness. Maybe you've gone through pain. Maybe you've learned hard lessons and you're not that same person anymore because now you have knowledge. Now you have wisdom behind you. Now you have experiences that have altered you and changed you. And are you not embodying that fully because you're afraid that people around you won't accept that or like that? So that's what you're being asked with this 9 degrees. We have on the 2nd, Venus entering Virgo, and that's going to land in your 1st house, obviously, because it's Virgo. For a second, I was like, wait, where's that landing? So that's going to be conjunct your ascendant. This is going to be a time where you might be kind of jumping on a perfectionist train. You know, with that full moon going over the 8th house, you definitely can see some breakdowns of relationships or situationships that maybe make you question your self-worth. And this can be kind of like that post breakup, post issue glow up with that Venus conjuncting the 1st. You are going to be attracting more people. People are going to be more drawn into you. The way you communicate with them is going to be received well. You might be, like I said, hypercritical about your looks because it is Virgo, and Virgos, you are hypercritical, especially when it comes to yourself. So you have to be aware of perfectionist tendencies when it comes to your physical appearance. But you're definitely going to be feeling better about how you look overall with Venus energy being there. And that's going to last until the 28th. So there is some time with that. That transit lasts a couple weeks. Now, the next transit, Pluto going direct in Capricorn, that lasts until January 2024. So this is something that this energy that's happening right now is nothing new. You've been going through it since 2008. Pluto is in your 5th house. So what you may have been experiencing since 2008 and continue on, and it might really start to pick up even more now in your physical, how it's physically manifesting, because we have Saturn and we have Jupiter also in the 5th house joining in with this like team tag of energy, is teaching you about power issues regarding romance, regarding casual sex, having to learn very difficult lessons through those topics, having power issues regarding children, being obsessed over hobbies, having a hard time being being too serious all the time, not having enough time being carefree. So with the romance and the casual sex, you may have had, been through a lot of different relationships that you thought were going to be amazing and long lasting, but they have not been. That's because you are learning about your attachments to others. You're learning that the physical attractions to other people and sex is not everything, that you need balance in a connection. Because I feel like a lot of these people that you find a lot of attraction towards and a lot of wanting to spend time with is like they're people that want to keep you in a specific box on what type of relationship you're going to have with them in your life. You also may have found very difficult, time connecting with people in that way as well. Maybe particularly like in relationships, if you were in a relationship during this transit, you may have had a breakdown in that romance and in that sexual energy and that connection and needing to find that again. You also can go through some power issues regarding children, as children are ruled, the 5th house rules children. So if you have a child with somebody, you could have went through some custody issues, things of that nature over this transit. And then we also have the obsession over hobbies. You could have, because the 5th house is ruled by hobbies, it's also ruled by self-employment. This can be a time where you can find yourself overly obsessed and trying to escape your reality through your hobbies, and hurting yourself in other aspects of your life. And if you are self-employed, you could find yourself being hyper-focused on that, and also that balance not coming for the rest of the other aspects of your life. And this is all results in you having a tendency to not be able just to be carefree and taking things very seriously, from relationships of not being able just to start them and have fun, to, issues with children, to your hobbies, where it's like everything is very, very intense for you right now. So again, anytime Pluto's around, because Pluto is one extreme or the other, you need to work on that balance. You need to find that balance. And we are in Libra season, so there is more energy to help you. But you're going to feel this more because it's now direct again. So you're going to have more situations in your life show up that push this energy out of you and bring it to your awareness. So that's going to be your reading for Virgo risings. I hope you all are having a fantastic day, a good month. I will next be talking to you about Mercury retrograde, and that's going to be happening on the 13th. So that's going to come out in a couple of days, and seeing how that affects you and what you get to look forward to with that lovely transit that we all look forward to so much. Okay, so I will see you all next time, and thank you for being here. Hi, Libra rising. So that full moon that happened in Aries on the 1st, that landed in your 7th house. So you definitely could have a lot of revelations about your relationships, a lot of tests in relationships. Full moons are very emotional. This is opposite your Libra placements. So it can definitely bring on a lot of physical manifestations into your life, because it's impacting you more than it is other signs. You also could find that a new relationship started in your life. You met somebody new around the 1st. And this is a relationship, if that's happening during this time, it's the start of a new cycle with the moon being in Aries. It's the beginning of the zodiac, the sign of Aries. And we are in Libra season, in your season. So you are going to have this connection. You're going to find that it's very balanced, that give and take. If you had some revelations coming up in your relationship, or in how you view relationships, you may have been thinking about how are things balanced in that connection? Am I giving enough? Am I taking enough? Am I giving too much? Am I taking too much? So balance will be called into question always. Like, that's the whole point of life, is finding that medium. But particularly since we are in Libra season, it's definitely going to be pushed more. Now, that Aries moon was at 9 degrees, and 9 degrees when it comes to you all is going to be asking you, do you believe balance isn't possible in this dynamic due to old issues within the connection? The 9th degrees of Aries wants you to take an old idea and turn it into something new with your own experience. So if you are like, you know what, I'm so tired of this person because we've gotten to this fight about this same situation over and over and over again, and nothing ever seems to come from it. We never resolve anything from it. I want you to take a look at how you've tried to resolve that issue in the past and see how you can take what you've learned from those attempts and change it into something new. You need to take your old experience and add in new aspects, new information to it, and try again. Because just because something didn't work in the past doesn't mean that it can't work with a new perspective. The other thing here is that if you're single, my question is to you, are you looking for old energy but in new skin? Have you really realized that the reason why certain relationships do not seem to keep working, but you seem to be attracted to the same type, and I'm not talking about physical looks, but I'm just talking about a type, an energy type, it's because you're just dating the same energy in different skin. Yeah, it's different people with different experiences, but they're coming with the same intent. And that's what you're needing to take a look at and adjust so you can attract something new. Okay, sorry, my nose is itching. I'm itching it because it's allergy season, and I mean the outside of my nose, not the inside. The outside of my nose gets so irritated with something in the air, and I start itching it. It turns red. Okay, let's move on. So on the 2nd, Venus enters Virgo, which is going to land in your 12th house. Now, 12th house transits are not fun, but Venus transiting through your 12th is a bit easier than others. This can bring on a couple different things. If you're single, it can definitely bring on a lot of feelings of loneliness and desires to be in a connection and feeling like you're never going to fall in love. So if you're going through those very dramatic thoughts, just remind yourself, okay, Venus is going through my 12th. I'm being a bit dramatic right now, because we know that's not true. The other thing Venus can bring on is secret relationships. So ones that are secret for a variety of reasons. These are relationships that are generally karmic, that began during these cycles, so they aren't going to be something that is meant to last for a very long time, but they are meant to wrap up karmic cycles or to teach you lessons. These are going to be very, very alluring connections, because otherwise we probably wouldn't want to deal with them, but they can be very hard to resist because they are needing to wrap up a cycle with that individual. So this is something that you would have to hide. Other people wouldn't be able to know about, having to hide affection, having to, hide the whole connection. So just a heads up for that. Really, what I've noticed with this for most people is they can't really resist it if it comes into their life. So if you explore it and it doesn't work out, know that you have wrapped up a cycle with a karmic partner. This is somebody that you might meet near a hospital, near a body of water, a prison. No, it's really weird, but those are all things that are ruled by the 12th house, so I thought I'd throw that out there. All right, and then lastly, we have Pluto stationing direct in Capricorn. This was landing in your 4th house and squaring your Libra placements. Now, this is a transit that has been going on for some time. This is nothing new, but this is something that you can see a pattern of different instances in your life since 2008, and it will remain in Capricorn until January 2024 when it finally transitions into Aquarius. So, Pluto being direct in your 4th house, you can notice power struggles within your home dynamic, within your family, within your culture or your roots, and you're learning a lot of lessons through those struggles. Also, your internal foundation is going to feel shaky. You can deal with a lot of difficult emotions, especially rage and anger, because your roots have been pulled up and destroyed, and you're being told to replant them. You're being told to find that inner space that is your home, regardless of what's happening around you. This can be a time that you lose your home. It can be a loss through finances. It can be a loss through tragedy or some sort of, fire or an event out of your control. And you're really being called to make sure that you have that home within you at all times, because it can never be taken from you. So it's definitely a very difficult transit. It's one where you're going to learn a lot about your childhood, about your ancestral line, about the toxicity within that, having to break the curses, basically, the generational curses, having to break free from your roots that are dead and dying and no longer deserve to stand. There goes my nose again. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so it's definitely a difficult transit, but it's going to create a very powerful version of you, one that cannot be swayed by what's going on in the external world. Even if you are facing something very difficult, you are going to have that inner home that you can always go to. So that's going to be Libra's reading. For these transits, we're going to be talking about Mercury retrograde next in the next couple of days, and how that's going to be impacting you. That is going to be happening in Scorpio, so it's bound to be a good time for the entire collective. As you all, I hope, noticed when I said last week or 2 weeks ago, when I was going over Mercury transiting into Scorpio, how everybody was going to be coming up with crazy conspiracy theories about everything and nobody trusting anything. If you go on Twitter right now, or really any social media, you'll see all the new conspiracy theories out. So, astrology never fails to amaze me with that. And, so we'll talk about how that's going to be impacting you directly. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you soon. Hello, Scorpio risings. So let's talk about that full moon in Aries on the 1st. Full moon energy can last for a couple weeks after, so you still might see some physical manifestations come out from it. It landed in your 6th house. And so you could have some revelations about your health and well-being. You could be having some revelations about your job. Also, manifestations can come in. So if you've been trying to manifest a job or a new situation there, a raise, whatever, that could be something that's coming through. And you could be making some decisions on, I think I want to do have a new routine. I want to get my shit together better. So this is one of those transits where, you go and you look in the mirror and you're like, I gotta lose some weight, or I gotta, clean up my diet. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. You have that, I just can't do this anymore moment. Now, it is at Aries, that full moon was at 9th degree Aries. And what the 9th degree is asking you as it's landing in your 6th house is, what can you take what you've learned so far about your health and how you take care of yourself and your routine, and how can you take what you used to do and incorporate new things to it? It's not saying, hey, let's destroy what we've always done and start brand new, but it's what can we incorporate in with a new philosophy about life. So let's say, you want to clean up your diet. Okay, so you're going to cut this, minimize that, add these things in, and see how that works. Instead of, okay, you know what, I'm going to throw this whole, what I used to eat, I'm not eating any of that stuff anymore, and I'm going strictly vegan. I'm going strictly keto. I'm doing this, that, like a drastic jump. It's not asking you to jump drastically. And you might be feeling like jumping drastically because, again, you're Scorpio energy. You're all about let's burn shit down and let's rebuild again and try again. Instead, the 9th degree Aries is always asking, what can you take from what you've learned and incorporate it and make it into something new? So use that when it comes to your health, when it comes to work, and when it comes to your day-to-day activities. Next, we have on the 2nd, Venus entered Virgo. Now, this is landing in your 11th house, and it's sextile your Scorpio placements, so the energy is flowing really, really well. It's a positive transit. This is going to be a time where you're going to be very well liked around your friends, your family, your community, those that you're close to. This also can be a time that you can meet somebody through a friend or through a community event, somebody that lives where you live. You can meet them while meeting up with friends, or a friend could introduce you. This person would likely be somebody that shares interests with you, shares similar social circles with you. This also could be a friend that admits that they have a crush on you. Or you could be attracting in new friends. You could have multiple friends that are being attracted to you. Again, the energy is flowing really well. So, it's all about you, okay? All about you with that transit. And that's going to last until the 28th, and when Venus will go into the sign of Libra, which will land in your 12th house. So we will talk about that when we get there. Lastly, we have Pluto stationing direct in the sign of Capricorn. That happened on the 3rd yesterday. Now, this is an energy that you've been dealing with some time. It's landed in your 3rd house, and it's sextiling your Scorpio placements, but you've been dealing with Pluto being in your 3rd house since 2008. It's a very slow moving planet. So there's nothing new happening, but the difference here between now and 2008 is that you have a lot of heavy hitting planets also in Capricorn, also in your 3rd house. We have Saturn and we have Jupiter, and Jupiter is pretty close to Pluto right now. So it's going to intensify, it's going to expand that energy. This is a time where you are learning that you have power. Your words have power. They carry weight. Your thoughts have power. They carry weight. You are going to learn about how you might have issues with needing to overpower people, Scorpio energy, okay? Particularly people that are close to you, siblings, people that are physically close to you, your neighbors, your people that live in your area. If you feel this desire to overpower them, or if you're dealing with power struggles with those people, you can thank this transit for it, because it's trying to teach you aspects of yourself and aspects of others. This is going to be a time that you can transform the way that you communicate with your friends, with your neighbors, with your siblings, with your community, and all of those that will be physically close to you. So it's very, very powerful period of time if you use the energy right. And you definitely want to, because in 2024, when it goes into Aquarius, this will land in your 4th house. So you're going to have to be going through a serious transformation when it comes to your family and your roots and those connections in that way. So by working through some issues that you might have with your siblings and those that are in close proximity to you, learning about your communication styles, you can bring a lot of ease into any of those issues that you might see present with the next transit you're going to face with Pluto energy. So this is what you're looking at for those 3 transits that we had, the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. The next recording I will do in the next couple of days is going to be about Mercury Mercury retrograde. And Mercury is already in your sign Scorpio. It's in your 1st house. We're going to talk about what that means for you to have Mercury retrograde happening in your 1st house. So I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I will be seeing you very soon. Hello, Capricorn rising. So we are going to be taking a look at what these planets and these transits are doing for you personally. So on the 1st, we had that full moon in Aries that landed in your 4th house, and it squared your Capricorn placement. So it definitely could have been some difficult energy to deal with. And the full moon energy, you can see manifestations still coming off of that over the next couple of weeks, the 2 weeks after it occurs. So this may have brought some revelations or difficult endings to your family dynamics, something involving your home or maybe even your culture. Those that are in your culture, you may have experienced some issues. And this could have been an ending for some dynamics. You could have gotten into a massive fight and decided to cut ties with a family member. It definitely can not be an easy time because it is a full moon. It's a very highly emotional transit anytime we have a full moon, but because of that squared energy, it's going to make it harder for Capricorn risings. This also can bring some revelations up about how you feel secure, how you feel safe, how you feel at home, and having you reassess that. Do you feel safe? Do you need to add in something to make yourself feel safer? If you suddenly felt like I need to get a home security system, you can thank that full moon for that feeling. Aries is the beginning of a new cycle. So these are really chapters closing so something new can begin, is what started with that full moon. The other question that the full moon brought in is the fact that it was at 9 degrees Aries. And 9 degrees Aries is asking, what can you take from past experiences and the way things have been done and add in your touch to it, add in your personality, your experiences to it to create something new. So with this landing in your 4th house, this is asking you, are you trying to recreate an old experience in your home? And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that unless this is an old experience that you don't want to create fully. Are you finding that you're, oh my God, I'm starting to act like my parents. Oh my God, I'm starting to, those type of things. And maybe look at it. See the good aspects that you could bring in from what you've learned from those people and maybe the negative ones, and try to leave the negative ones behind. This degree is also asking you, where can you bring in aspects from your roots, your culture, your childhood into your home to bring in more comfort. Maybe you don't have enough of that in your life. Maybe you need to bring in those things that you enjoy. Maybe you've tried to grow up too much and be like this adult and like you don't have anything that you really connect with in that way, that inner child connects with. Bring those things back into your home and into your space so you can feel more connected in that way. Now we have on the 2nd, Venus entered Virgo, which lands in your 9th house. It will stay there until the 28th when it goes into Libra. And the 9th house is Jupiter's house. It's a house of expansion and travel and wanting to break free. So you are probably going to want to break free from all the stuff that you normally do from your mundane life. Wanting to travel, wanting to experience other cultures, wanting to get other cultures' food, cuisines. And also if you've been in a space where you're like, fuck love, fuck relationships, I don't care about this, you may be more open and receptive to that as well. So this could be a time where you could meet somebody while you are traveling. You could meet somebody that is from another culture, another country. You could also meet somebody online, or you can meet somebody that speaks another language and has an accent. So those are all possibilities with Virgo transiting into, I keep doing that, Venus transiting into Virgo. And then it will be going into Libra next at the end of the month. And we'll talk about that later. So on the 3rd, yesterday, Pluto stationed direct. So if you felt a shift in energy, if you felt that heaviness, you can thank Pluto for that. Now, Pluto's energy is in your 1st house, and this has been there for some time. So this is nothing new to you. A Pluto 1st house transit is definitely difficult. It's one that is transformative through and through. You start it as one person and you end it as another. This has been going on since 2008 and will remain in Capricorn until January 2024 when it finally goes into Aquarius. So, what can you expect from this energy? Because right now, Jupiter and Saturn are also in your 1st house. So it's intensifying the Pluto energy. The more planets gather in the house, the more that energy and more physical manifestations will result with that energy being in your life at that time. So you can have all kinds of power struggles with this, from people being obsessed with you being obsessed with other people. You can have a lot of different health things happen. You can go through a physical transformation. You could lose a lot of weight. You could gain a lot of weight. You could lose a lot of weight, gain a lot of weight, lose a lot of weight, gain a lot of weight, like go up and down. Again, Pluto is all about extremes. So you could have very extreme moments when it comes to you and what you're doing, and how you present to the world. You could go through a lot of personality changes, different, beliefs that you fall hard into. So everything about you changes during this transit. Things that you need to look at. You as a whole, how you're doing, your happiness, your health, because your first house does really take on a lot of the brunt of the health, when it comes to how the planets interact and there's transiting, things that you're obsessed about, what do you need to find a even plane on? Where do you need to balance things out? What are you overdoing? That is what this Pluto transit is showing you. So that's going to, again, continue until 2024, but you may see more of the physical manifestations starting to pop up as we have Jupiter and Saturn in Capricorn. All right, so that is going to be your reading, Cap Risings. I hope you all are having a good day. I will be back with your interpretation of how Mercury retrograde, everybody's favorite thing, will be impacting your chart, and that's going to be happening on the 13th. So October is definitely going to be an interesting month. I will see you all next time, which will be very soon. Hello, Sagittarius rising. So let's talk about that full moon. Definitely intense for everyone. This landed in your 5th house and was trying your Sagittarius placement. So it might have been a bit easier for you, although you might have been dealing with some drama. Now, reminder, full moon energy can last about 2 weeks after it happens. So you still might be seeing some physical manifestations come down. But overall, it really does look like it was fairly positive for you. You could have realized that you're falling in love. You could have realized you're developing a crush on someone. There could have been some manifestations with some creative or self-employment ventures that you had. You could have some revelations about children. You could be deciding you want kids. You could decide you don't want kids. You could be deciding or finding out that you're pregnant. That's a big full moon in Aries energy, I'll tell you what, because full moon in Aries is bringing on a new cycle. Aries is the beginning of the zodiac. It's a new chapter. And with that moon landing in your 5th house, that's a perfect pregnancy marker. So if you are late, I would definitely check that out, okay? Anyway, so beyond that, we have the full moon was in Aries at 9 degrees. So Aries 9 degrees asks you in Sabian symbols, what do you already know? What can you teach and put your own personal touch on it so you can make it something new? Because it's something that, there's nothing new under the sun. So the way this message goes, and I'm going to apply it to you directly and ask you some questions, is there something that you're not saying or not sharing because you're afraid it's already been done before? And it reminds you that you have your personal experiences, your personal touch, your personality to add into that information. It's just not you sharing information that's already been shared before. Now, when it comes to the 5th house, the question is, do you want to do you want to teach children? Because you have an ability to teach others, particularly children, and teach them concepts that have already been taught before, but do it in a way that's new. Do it in a way that's creative, by incorporating the old things that do work and are good, removing the things that don't, and bringing in a new element to it, particularly your experiences, and your brain, the way that you think, your creativity, and that will bring something new. So if you've ever been felt drawn to teaching, if you've ever been felt drawn to children, then this is a direct message for you with that. Otherwise, if you're falling more into the love and, romance and all of that, this energy is asking you about that. It's asking you, what can you learn from, or what can you change about your connections in this way? Even if they're short-term connections and something that you're invested in, what can you change about how you behave in these relationships and bring something new into it? Learn something new. Create something new. So on the 2nd, Venus entered Virgo. This landed in your 10th house, and it's squaring your Sagittarius placements. So it's not the easiest energy to deal with, but it is Venus, so it does soften issues that might come with it. So if you have any career stuff that's going on or any public persona issues going on right now, you can find some assistance with that. This also could be a time that you have some social advancements. You could be meeting somebody at work. With all Venus transits, sometimes they bring new people into your life, so you can meet somebody new at work or meet somebody that has a position of power. You could find yourself very attracted to people with positions of power, but because there is that square, you could also find yourself in a difficult dynamic because of it. So for an example, this would be a textbook example for this transit would be, getting a new boss and being attracted to them and they're attracted to you, but then you have that dynamic that you are the inferior employee, they're the superior, and you guys can't be in a connection because there can be a power control issue. That would be a perfect textbook example of how this transit can manifest. So that is something to think of. Again, fall back into that 9th degree question. How do you go about with your romantic connections, and what can you take from what you've learned and create something new in that department of your life, creating a new dynamic? Okay, so next up we have Pluto stationing direct. Now, this Plutonic energy has been in your life and been sitting in your 2nd house for some time. This is the house of, this has been going on since 2008 when Pluto went into Capricorn, and it will remain in Capricorn until January 2024. So it's nothing new. Pluto stationed direct in your 2nd house. So if you felt that pressure, if you felt that shift, that seriousness, especially when it comes to finances on the 3rd, you can thank Pluto direct for that. What you might been noticing over this transit, some serious financial problems. You can have some serious ups and downs with your finances, having a lot of money come in quickly and having it go just as quickly. Power struggles with money, people trying to control you with money. Reassessing your attachment with money, being very obsessed with it or maybe not caring about it at all. You might have your security taken away multiple times. You might find that you're obsessed with your values and what you think how people should be and how you should be, to the point where you're very rigid and there's not much room for error. You could find that you're being obsessed with how you appear, how you appear to others financially. Do you look like you have money? You could have found that you put yourself in the hole trying to appear like you had more money than you did. So these are all things that Pluto is teaching you. They're teaching you that, hey, you gotta budget. You gotta find balance here. That money is not everything. That money, though, it needs to be taken seriously. It's like it's not everything, but it's not nothing either. So you got to find that balance. It's also teaching you about security and needing to find security within yourself because things can be taken away from you. It's teaching you to disconnect valuing who you are as a person with what you have, because that is something, external things can always be taken away. And it's teaching you to not have an obsession about what you have and how you present to the world, because again, all things that can be taken away. You really are learning how to build up this internal value system that you respect you no matter where you're at financially. So that is going to be your assessment for what's been going on the last couple days and how that's going to be continuing to play out in your life. I hope you all have a great day. Next, I will be back with Mercury retrograde, everybody's favorite time of the year, and how that's going to be impacting you directly. I hope you all are having a fantastic day, and I will see you very soon. Hello, Aquarius rising. So that full moon was definitely intense for a lot of people. And for you, this landed in your 3rd house. It was sextile your Aquarius placements, so it might not have been as hard on you as it was for others, but you might have been very, very busy. The 3rd house is our house of like running errands and short trips, so you might have found yourself having to catch up on a lot of things, including like emails, and other important communications. You also could have had some sort of important communication coming through. Revelations about even how you communicate with other people. Maybe somebody being like, hey, you're being kind of rude, or you're being kind of aloof. I don't know really where you stand. And taking a look at how you communicate with other people. You also could have had some issues coming up with siblings or those that you live near. So that's in regards to proximity, your neighbors, people in your close community, and problems popping up or understanding situations that were a problem in the past with these people. Also, if you are a teacher or thought about it, you could have had some revelations or change of thought or a new perspective about what you are, your what you're teaching, what it is that you're going over at this time. So full moons are also manifestations. So again, you could have had some important communication or some communication coming in that you've been trying to manifest during this transit as well. Now, Aries, that full moon was at 9 degrees Aries, and what this degree is asking overall is what information do you want to teach or share that you're afraid to because you think it's already been done. When it comes to that landing in your third house, this is really applicable for basically what it stands for overall, but what is it that you're wanting to teach or share that you can do in a new way? Are you afraid of sharing information or communicating because you think that it's already been said and it's not going to be effective? You can literally see, go on Twitter, it's very annoying, or anywhere. You can go on my own page. It's happened on my page, and I'm like, I literally just said that. I don't understand why this person's saying it made sense to you, but I just said it. Where people will say the same exact things, but it will, coming from somebody else, it will make more sense, or that they will be more understandable, even if it's fairly the same information. Your personal experience, your personal touch, your energy, the way you communicate is different than everybody else's. You have to combine all those aspects, and it's only one you, okay? So just because it's been said before, done before, thought before, taught before, doesn't mean that you can't add a new element to it and create it into your own. So if you're fearing doing something, especially for all my teachers out there, like, hey, well, no, like, I know I already got that idea from somebody else and I don't know if it's really going to work because it didn't work for them. Bring your own element to it. Change it. And if things don't work, they don't work, especially when it comes to this topic right here. Try things out with how you communicate and how you teach. Sometimes some things won't work for some people and they'll connect with others, and then you can figure out how to connect with those people later. But just try it, okay? All right, but overall, this full moon wasn't really a big deal for you all, unless, of course, you got some communications that you're really looking forward to. Okay, so we have next up on the 2nd, Venus entered Virgo, and this landed in your 8th house. Now, that's going to stay there until the 28th, so there's going to be some time. And you can find during this transit that you have a financial boost through others' resources. So mainly applicable to those that are in relationships. Your partner may get a raise or some sort of financial boost, and it's going to benefit you. If you also are close to somebody that like gives you money, you're not in a relationship with them, but you're friends or whatever, you could be getting some sort of gift from them. Also, if you're single, you could be meeting somebody new. Now, with this transit, these usually are relationships that are very obsessive. They're very deeply connected. They generally are going to be somebody that is a karmic partner, somebody that you're still like learning a lesson with, somebody that you're very, very like intensely attracted to, where it's like, oh my God, who is this? Like, they obviously must be somebody very important to my life, which they can be. However, you want to be careful. You want to make sure you're looking for the red flags, because these are transits that can definitely bring some energy that you're trying to escape back into your life as kind of like a final test, as a final boss, right? But also you can find some ease in connections or with issues with power control as well. So it really depends on your personal chart, how this energy is going to play out. Just keep your eyes open. If you see the red flags for it being too of an intense connection, too obsessive, too like, I can tell this is going to go down a bad road, I would really, really listen to that. Next, we have on the 3rd, Pluto stationed direct in Capricorn. Now, Pluto has been in Capricorn since 2008 and will remain there until 2024. So this is a very long-lasting transit. This is a transit that's an outer planet. So you generally see themes of its energy in your life instead of, a big event manifesting, although they can. Pluto, though, is in your 12th house. So it's difficult. 12th house transits are very difficult, and 12th house Pluto transit is preparing you for whenever it goes into your 1st house. So not to bum you out, but you definitely are being prepped for kind of a harder transit. But it's okay, because guess what? We all have Pluto transiting something, and it's never easy no matter where it is. What Pluto in the 12th is teaching you is to face the past, is to release past things, is to release the things that you are hiding from yourself. It acts as a cleanup to that 12th house, which is basically the junk drawer of the of astrology, and it's all the things that we don't want to deal with. So you just shove them in the junk drawer. The trauma that we don't want to deal with. The things from past life that we don't want to deal with. Things that we are not aware of and have no idea about, that we don't want to have come up to the surface. So you might have had a lot of weird experiences where you're, having these issues come up, new phobias, new fears. Why am I afraid of this all of a sudden? Past life stuff. So this is a very hard transit to describe because there's so much that can be being unearthed that have nothing to do with your current existence, that are about your ancestral line, that are about past experiences, that are karma, that you're paying off. And it's not to say that if you've struggled that this is like you deserved it, but you definitely are getting rid of some debts at this time. So what can you do to help this? Allow things to just unfold. You can't control them. You can't really seek it out because it's information that is so deeply hidden. But when it does come up and you're like, why do I feel like this? Just, okay, Pluto 12th transit. I'm getting rid of all this junk. I'm cleaning out the junk drawer. I don't know where this is coming from, but let's not harp on it too much. Let's just allow it to come up and go. So that is going to be your reading, Aquarius placements, or Aquarius rising. I hope you all are having a great day. Next time I'm going to be talking about Mercury retrograde and what that's doing in your chart, how it's going to affect you, how you can best handle it. And so that will be in the next couple days. I do appreciate you all, and I will see you next time. Hi, Pisces risings. So that full moon was definitely interesting. It landed in your all's second house, and full moon energy can actually, you can see manifestations still popping up from it about 2 weeks out from it actually happening. So you still might be having some things that happen. Second house and a full moon can definitely bring positive manifestations of financial things. So what you've been striving after, you could, land or get a promotion, get a new job, book a new client, be given a gift of money, something, winning money coming through in some way. This also can be a time that your values are illuminated and you are taking a look at them, seeing, do I need to make room for, some new ideas? Do I need to tap more back into my values? Am I going about making money in a way that I find that matches and aligns with my values? Those are all questions that might pop up with the full moon. Now, the other thing is that the second house is opposite from the 8th house. So it really is a lot about other people's resources as well. And you might be being called to find a balance between your resources and someone else's. Are you giving that equal give and take in a connection in that way with your finances and their finances? Are you sharing? Is it reciprocated? Are they taking care of you more? Are you taking care of them more? And finding a balance in that department of your life. Now, the Aries full moon was at the 9th degree, and what the 9th degree overall asks for is, are you suppressing yourself in any way, any ideas that you have because you're afraid they're already been done and you don't have anything special to offer? And it reminds you that you have all of these personal experiences, your life, and you are a different person than everybody else with your own personality. So, of course, you have something new to offer. For you specifically, since it's landing in your second house, it's what do you need to change about how you handle your finances? That maybe you've tried in the past and didn't work, or can you look at what other people have done and put your own personal spin on it so you can then change that for yourself? Also, the same question goes, but in regards to values, taking a look. Are some of your values needing to go? Do you need to incorporate something new? It's not about wiping the slate clean with this. That's not what the 9th degree is asking you, but it's asking you, hey, what can you take with you and what do you need to leave behind, and how can you add in something new? Next, we have Venus on the 2nd entered Virgo, and this lands in your 7th house. So this is a transit that's going to last until the 28th, so it'll be there for a couple weeks, and this is definitely a time that new relationships can begin. Venus in the 7th house is the big flag for a new relationship starting, and one that is based out of true commitment. Or you might be finding that you are really desiring a relationship that is truly committed. Like you're deciding, okay, I want to be in a real long-lasting connection. This is also a transit that you might find that looks are more important than normal. Like you might be more hypercritical if you're on the dating app over what people are looking like, or even appearances in regards to what they appear to be able to offer to you. You're going to be you're going to analyze that a bit more. You also could meet somebody through a business connection or a close connection to you, as that also is ruled by the 7th house. So lastly, we have Pluto stationed direct on the 3rd. And so yesterday, if you felt a shift in seriousness, if you felt that pressure, that weight, you can thank that transit for that. Now, Pluto has been stationed in Capricorn for a very long time, since 2008, and it will remain there until 2024. So this is nothing new, and you've been dealing with this energy for some time. So no need to panic. I know if you're new to astrology and you hear Pluto going direct, you're probably like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Pluto is the planet of death. But you've been dealing with it for some time. This is happening in your 11th house, and it's sextile your Capricorn placements, except it's sextile your Pisces placements. So you are not being hit as hard as some other folks with that energy. But what you might have been noticing since 2008 is power struggles within your friendships, power struggles within your community, and obsessing about the future, obsession about social causes and social justice. So these are things that may have been maybe have been a theme in your life so far. But what's going on currently is that we have a lot of other heavy hitting planets also in the sign of Capricorn, and they have been for this year, and more for Saturn. But you're going to definitely be seeing that energy intensify, and you might see more physical manifestations in your life. So if you're seeing relationships of people that you've loved and known for some time fall apart over power struggles, this is that Plutonic energy coming in and kind of wiping out things that you need to break away from. And this is not saying it's bad people, it's just we all have life shifts you, and it shifts you into different communities and different friend circles and things like that. And so this could be a period of time that, maybe some of you are being called to kind of clean up your circle. Some of you might be recognizing, hey, I am way too obsessed with these different things that are going on and hyper focused on them, and I need to find more balance in my life. I need to have more fun with my friends. I need to have more fun with my community. Maybe you're so obsessed about the future, you're missing out on the present. You're missing out on your life. You're living for that. So these are all things to kind of ask yourself and pay attention to as these years continue on, because then Pluto will transit out of your 11th house and go into your 12th house, which is going to be a period of upheaval internally. So get the external upheaval done now. All right. So that is going to be it for Pisces risings. Next time, I'm going to be talking about Mercury retrograde and what that is doing in your chart, because that's everybody's favorite time of the year. If you all remember from last time when I was talking about Mercury going into Scorpio, how all these crazy conspiracies are going to be popping up all over the place, retrograde, I feel, is going to intensify that. So we're going to see how that's going to affect you particularly. And I'm going to be seeing you all next time. I hope you have a fantastic day. And yeah, that's it.